What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Escape the Mad Empire. They gave me access to the release version a little bit early because the game is coming out very shortly. I've spent the last 2.5 hours with the game, and honestly, I think what they're playing around with has merit here. If you haven't seen Escape the Mad Empire before, it is a roguelike, but it's a roguelike that imagines what if it was a party-based dungeon crawler with combat just like something you would play in Baldur's Gate 1 or Baldur's Gate 2. You had party members that went back to like a central base in between dungeon dives, and you can kind of upgrade them, and you can buy new buildings. You can do all that kind of fun stuff, and what if we slapped a Diablo 2 style loot system on top of it with procedurally generated gear and legendaries and stuff like that as you were going on through, and you had to manage your party sort of Darkest Dungeon style. I think the merging of an actual hardcore D&D CRPG D20 system is kind of interesting when you think about roguelikeifying it, and I've had a good time with the game today. So we're going to play it for about 30 minutes. We're going to see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you would rather not play for yourself. If after watching this you did indeed want to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description, just like I always do. There'll also be a big selection of Nerd Castle links down there that you can give the old clicky just in case you feel so inclined. But let's dive into the game and I'll kind of explain how all of this works. Also, there's no background music right now, and it's making me feel a little bit creeped out. Like, the hairs on my neck were standing up a little bit. It's a little bit too accurate. Like, I tell people my job is to talk to myself for a living in a closed-off office in the back of the house. But when there's no background music or anything else like that, it becomes really apparent. It's a little nerve-wracking. So welcome to our base. This is where we live at. So the general story of this game is that there was a evil king. He found like these magic crystals underground that could be used as a power source, and he went nuts doing scientific research with them, converting people into zombies and monsters, but also inventing rad stuff like server infrastructure. So there you go. The Mad Empire invented AWS. We are adventurers from the past who have been resurrected by an AI underground that's trying to stop the king, and so that's why everything looks technological in here, is because the Mad King's been doing his thing for a long time and stuff is kind of advanced, and now they've got to bring in heroes from the past to go into the dungeon, figure out what the hell is going on, fight with the bad guys, get loot. While you're traveling throughout the realms, though, you do destabilize because you're not from this time period. So there's a whole bunch of like character management around here where, like, as they go into dungeons over and over again, they start to dematerialize. You've got to restabilize them, which takes them out for 4 or 5 days, which means that you're constantly cycling through heroes and classes to try out new builds when you go into the dungeon. For now, the most interesting part is just going back into the dungeon, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll do a fast dungeon run, and then when we get back, we'll talk about all the supplementary buildings. I haven't even unlocked like a third of them in the 2 hours or so that I've played. There are a lot of buildings in this game, and all of them can be upgraded in many different wondrous and splendiferous ways. But our next dungeon right now is a small dungeon for like level 1.2.5 guys in there somewhere. We're allowed to bring up to 5 levels worth of characters. I have that already. I have a level 2 cleric, a level 1 wizard that's about to hit level 2, my warrior who's like my ringer. He's got like a little icon next to his face because his gear's so dope. He's being restabilized right now because he was dematerializing, and you don't want that to happen in the dungeon. We've got a berserker up here, or a ravager I guess is what they're calling it, but he's a barbarian basically. We've got a rogue. I've never played with the rogue, so we'll see what happens with him, but let's take this next dungeon right here. You have kind of like a little path, and there's different things you can get at different places on the path, just as though you were playing FTL or something else like that. And then the heart of the mission is you get like big chests at the end of the dungeon. Big chests give you tons of loot of varying qualities. I do have a stash. I've already got all the things. Before I started recording the video, I went ahead and I just like organized everything into various bag slots and whatnot. So we should have a good loadout for right now. There are survival elements to this game. Your characters do need to eat and drink. Some decisions will kind of negatively affect your satiety and like your hunger. And so as you move through the dungeons, things kind of happen. For right now, this guiding light right here makes it so that I can't die. I'm on like the 3rd or the 4th mission. But he's still following me around, acting as kind of like bumpers. Oh, I stepped on a trap. Fantastic. Did it hurt anybody? I think it just spread water all over the place. Yeah, it's just like a water bomb. This game does have kind of like the Divinity Original Sin interactions where various surfaces and coatings and liquids and stuff like that are around. Some of them are flammable. Some of them will transfer electricity. It just kind of depends. The game is chock-a-block with lots of really good quality of life. So, for example, I don't need to click on every single pot in order to open it on up. Instead, you just mouse over pots wherever they may be and it breaks them open. And you can also pick up the gold by mousing over it instead of having to click. And on top of that, once you get done with the dungeon, all of the gold and stuff that's laying around that you missed is on this map. You can just mouse over it on the map and it picks it all up at the end too, which is really, really great. I like that a lot. But for right now, we need to get down in here and figure out what our enemy is doing. Once we get ourselves into some jolly good combat, maybe murder a few enemies, I'll talk about how the specifics of combat work. It's a little bit different from other push-pause games you may have checked out. So typically what happens in a push-pause game is that you queue up all your actions, and then once you set the timer running again, everybody executes them. Not in this game, actually. You can do stuff while paused in order to sort of like maintain. Let's have all of my heroes. So we got a bunch of zombies over here. I want my wizard to be back here. I want my rogue to be back here. Does my rogue have an alternate bow set? My rogue does have an alternate bow set, so that's good. Let's put the rogue back there. We'll put the wizard back over there, and then we'll have the two frontline fighters out in the front. Oh no, the orb got in the way. Orb, move! What are you doing? Okay, pass through my own characters then. Every single character in this game has a bunch of different abilities. You will be getting more of them as you get further on into the title. They upgrade, and you can kind of make them do. You can decide if you want to have like a ton of charges on your abilities so that you can use them a lot on a dungeon dive, but they're not going to be quite as strong. You can focus on making it so you've got one spell that completely map clears on the first cast, but you can only cast it once per dungeon. It's kind of up to you how you want to upgrade things. But for now, rogue, start firing arrows over there. Wizard, I would love it if you fireball that guy. Like I said, when you're paused, you actually, everything down here is like an instant cast that happens during the pause, which is kind of an interesting change to what I'm used to with games like this. These boys are brawling over here, so let's go ahead and throw down on that side. We do want to kick off. Let's go with Blood Rage on him to make him nice and angry. That way he's attacking a lot faster. Over here, what do you have? I haven't even looked at your abilities. So he's got a decoy. Throw a decoy back there. Does that have a limited number of charges? No, but it's got a sizable cooldown. Okay, I can live with that. You do a quick strike right there to kill that bat and get him out of the corner. All of the effects in this game are done very, very well. Everything from gas to fireballs to stuff like that, all animated very, very well. We'll try to freeze the zombie to CC him. And I'm not in control of him anymore, so we're just going to kind of have to let him do his thing. Is my cleric getting chewed on down here? Put a personal shield on yourself. Oh, I hit the wrong button, didn't I? No, I hit the right one. He should have a personal shield now that the enemy's going to have to eat through if he wants to beat me. Nobody else has gotten chunked super hard just yet. Yeah, get the decoy in there. I didn't realize the decoy. I thought it was just going to be like a targeting dummy or something that was laying off to the side. But it's actually a character that I can control. You guys keep firing arrows everywhere. If my cleric has a second, let's throw a heal on the Ravager just to patch him up a little tiny bit. Your hit chance for all of these different characters is there when you mouse over. For right now, we're kind of just auto-attacking and making sure we take care of stuff. I don't know what he's gonna do now. Oh, he came out of his blood rage. That's probably good. You do a quick strike right there. Unfortunately, he did not hit the enemy. That kind of sucks. With my wizard, get him with a magic missile right there. That looks good. How many arrows have I gone through so far? Like a lot of them? Yeah, you go back to firing. For whatever reason, wizards in this game, they use arrows. I don't know. My wizards all have like arrows and things flying around. For you, is anything back up on cooldown? We've got shock. It's a frontal AoE. We can try that out. Seems like it did a little bit of damage. Man, he's got lots of pushbacks. We're going to be careful around these guys if we're near like spike pits or razor walls or anything else. There are random traps and random just obstacles inside the dungeon where you can kick guys off of a cliff and kill them instantly. So you got to watch out for it. We've got some heavy boots right here that give +4 to physical armor. We've got a few more arrows, which is nice because we went through a bunch back there. We have, oh, it collected all the gear together. Okay, so multiple bodies will all collect their loot on the first body that you loot if they're inside of a radius. That fight would have gone much better inside of this room because there's explosive barrels everywhere. That would have been a nice little boon to have, but unfortunately, did not walk that far on in. I actually really like the little characters they've made in this game. They remind me of Heroes of Hammerwatch. That's what it reminds me of. My warrior is kind of beat up, but I can fix that a little bit by giving him food. Yeah, let's feed him some cheese right there. They've got little meters next to their faces with their water, their thirst. They've got 2 little bars down here where it's how much physical armor they have, so the enemy has to damage your physical armor before they can get to your HP. They've also got magic shield down here, which does the exact same thing except for magical effects. At the top, they've got another bar for their energy, and so various things you do inside of the game are going to cost you that energy. My wizard has a level up. That's really nice, so I can pick a level 2 skill for him. We can get lightning. It does 3d12 damage. We've got a cold wave, which is an AoE. Okay, so we can go with single target for hella damage. We can go for an AoE that actually doesn't do a small amount of damage either, or we can get plasma beam, which once again is a single target that not only does like 24-ish damage on a good roll, but it also puts a burn on the enemy. I like lightning, so I'm going to go with lightning shock for right now because that fills me with joy. Do we have any other heals that we can throw out here? 2 seconds till my heal is off cooldown, I think. Yeah, but I think we've got to be like in motion before it comes off. There we go. Perfect. All right, so he's all nice and healed up. We need to dive a little bit further down into the dungeon and see what we can track down. The other thing that I wanted to do is I need you to put these boots on. You have like no armor at all. My guy is basically naked, just hanging brain inside the dungeon at the moment. And there's enough pokey, slicey, and slashy objects inside of a dungeon that like I just wouldn't want those things to be exposed to the elements. Now there is a trap in this room, but I don't exactly... Is that how he does it? Okay, disarm it. Perfect, and he got some XP for that as well. That's really good stuff. I've been stepping on a lot of traps before I got the rogue, and now things seem to be going a little bit better. Who needs to catch up on XP? I feel like my frontline guy does. So a dusty book stands before you. You wonder what kind of secret or knowledge it might contain. Somehow you think that reading it might be a good experience. He's really dumb. He's not very intelligent, but he has a 75% chance of completing it, and extra 75 XP is kind of exactly what the doctor ordered for him because he's behind on levels compared to the rest of my party because I haven't been running him. And so any way that I can find for him to catch up and kind of hold his shoulders up, find his self-confidence, be able to stand next to all the gleaming paragons of virtue that I have in the rest of my party, I just want him to feel a little bit better. I don't like having berserkers with low morale. All right, enemies over here. Let's go ahead and start throwing out spells. I'm going to try to freeze that one. It worked out pretty well. I do have some throwable potions that I have inside of here. This game is really big on consumables. Make sure you pay attention to your consumables in this title because your consumables are actually pretty strong. They can bail you out of an intensely bad situation. You've got them lined up right there. Get them with the AoE on that side. Good stuff. Killed them off. You guys reroute to right there. In fact, just do a quick instant attack right there while auto-attacking. You on this side, give me... I don't want to use a lightning bolt just yet because we might need it later on in the dungeon, so I'll just throw a magic missile at this guy. Basically, I'll just keep it to cantrips for right now. Sorry if the camera zoomed in a little bit too far, but I find that when I'm zoomed out, this is kind of like the default zoom. I find that I can't track the intricate things that are happening on the combat log, and so I like to zoom in when I'm actually in a fight. What do you got? A belt? A magic belt. A belt of minor health. Good stuff, just in case we've got some prospecting in our future. Let's go ahead and put that in right there, because I feel like our tank is probably the guy that needs more HP for right now. Get himself all set up. You guys hear the one about the prospector that was stuck in a cave-in? Yeah, he's all right. He only suffered minor injuries. That's one my dad used to love when I was a kid. That was like one of those peak dad jokes that my dad would fire off constantly. Inside the dungeon, you will find gold. You will find goodies. All of this stuff is persistent. That's why they give you a stash. You are expected to kind of load out and do your thing when you head on in. This quenches everybody's thirst by 20. And I don't want to carry it around in my inventory, so like let's just feed it to somebody real fast and get water meters refilled. The meat over here is plus 50, so we kind of want to wait for them to get down below that dividing line. This is a healing pool. We don't need it right now because everybody's at full health, so I'm not going to fiddle with it too much. But if we do get ourselves beat up later, I'll check it out and see what I can do. And we've got another door up there that we haven't gone through, so let's trundle the party on over this way, and once we're set up in front of the door, we'll kick this bad boy open, sort of Munchkin style, and see what kind of goodies are inside of there for me to stuff greedily inside my pockets. Okay, door. Open her on up. How bad is it in here? We've got zombies and a few other things that we need to tangle with. One thing I might suggest is don't weapon swap, but quick shoot that to get water everywhere. And then the game gives you challenges. As you do the challenges, they just reward you with loot and money. Like the AI says that he's testing you, basically. I wanted to lightning strike them while they were still on the water, but I don't think it's going to go down that way. His AoE's still on cooldown, so we'll just swack that guy. Unfortunately, he defended perfectly fine. Let's bring him up to here, maybe. Ooh, never mind. Okay, just focus on that one. Get the rogue on this one right here. So rogue, stab him up. He dodged it, unfortunately. This one right here, we'll swing at him. We did get the hit right there, so that's good. If you could just... I mean, I don't like to use fire spells on zombies because, like I said, there's interactions in this game. Some zombies, if you hit them with fire, they become fire zombies, and then they light everything on fire that they touch until you kill them. And so it can be a little bit of a headache if and when that happens. We don't have any silver keys, so I know you guys are probably pointing out that big chest that was at the beginning of the dungeon. We can't get into that big chest due to the fact that we don't have any keys right now. Let's get them locked in to this little fighting area right here. Rogue, go back to your bow. Kick it right there. Can you land that hit from right there? You cannot. Okay, come back over this way, and we'll just wait for him to close the gap. I'm going to freeze the zombie in the back so that he has been crowd controlled and we don't have to deal with him right now. And then he's got ninja stars he can throw. Yeah, throw ninja stars. There you go. And probably not the most efficient way to kill off a bat or whatever the hell that was. What is that? Oh, it's a skeletal child. Okay. Well, we're murdering skeletal children right now. I don't know if that's going to look really, really great when we tell the story of our adventure, but what can you do? You guys line up on him. You don't really have anything going on right now. He does have weak point, though. Hit him with weak point. There you go. And then see if you can smack him up after that. Perfect. Down goes the enemy. No corpses to be looted or anything, but we do have a little bit of cash that he spit out upon getting taken out. Let's keep cruising on through here, and so far I found the dungeons to be pretty well decorated. They've got like little different tile sets and things you can play around with, and fine, he's already spinning up an attack. Just get him with a normal attack right there. These guys are moving up this way. I don't think there's anything I can do with the grass right now in order to make stuff more functional. But I can drop a decoy back up in here, maybe? Yeah, you kind of just do your thing and, like, occupy somebody. Like, be a pain in somebody's butt cheek that they can't remedy. There we go. Perfect. And now we'll move a little further on into the dungeon. This guy's CC'd right now, so we'll just dogpile everybody on top of him while he's taunted and then just beat him to death real quick. And down he goes. There's a little bit of gold inside of here. There's like a few things laying around. That's a campfire. It allows you to reduce your hunger and your thirst by half, but it gives you a full heal and it restores charges on a bunch of your different little abilities. So save that for when you need it would be my advice. Every single enemy that we're killing so far is giving us XP if you were paying attention. There is a little pop-up that makes their little yellow meter go up. When you level up, you get to pick a new ability that like sort of correlates with the level that you're at, and then upgrading abilities happens during the metagame in between runs. I think that's the last of the dungeon. No, we've got more dungeon right here, and we've got more dungeon right here. Okay, send everybody south, and we'll figure it out. All right, door number 1. Booby trap inside of here. Rogue, get her done, would you? We'll disarm the trap. Another 50 XP. I get the feeling my rogue's going to level up fast. Inside the crate, we found a shield +1. Tower shield +1, in all honesty. We've got ourselves a water skin. We've got a silver key, which will let us get into that other chest. We've got the blue key, which gets us off the level. We've got a blueprint. That's a metagame currency that you use for upgrading the buildings inside of your base. We've got crystal shards. Those allow us to get new character classes. They allow us to unlock things like new vendors that'll sell us specific items that we might need on any given run. And so, all in all, a pretty good pickup right there. The big blue chest was over here, so let's grab everybody and head this way. We'll open up this chest and kind of see what it's got inside of it for us. I do think that... Who can use a shield here? You can use a shield. Well, there's your shield +1, brother. So he's got +10 physical armor now. This guy should be sitting on stacks of armor at this point before the enemy can get after him and hurt him. So that's a nice pickup for him. Let's see if the chest has anything good inside of it. The chest has medium gloves of lightning. Base damage is converted into lightning, and you get a +1 to your max damage and inflicted damage every time that you strike. He doesn't have any gloves on, However, because it's such a small amount of damage, we probably want to put it on somebody that's got a faster attack time, I would think. And so maybe I'll put it on my rogue instead. We've also got an upgraded bow over here. It's a bow of charming. There's a 15% chance to convert our enemy to our side when we shoot him with the bow. Very nice. We've also got some +3 arrows right there. You can pick what arrows your party is using through this little interface right here. There's all kinds of arrows. There's water arrows, there's fire arrows, there's lightning arrows. That's an ingot. We use that to upgrade facilities back at base. This right here is a gem. Gems, if you've unlocked the forge, which I think we get after this mission, you can fuse gems onto your gear, and they do all kinds of stuff, from converting the elemental affinity to like adding hops to like, you know, just adding flat damage to giving your character more HP. All that good stuff is inside of there. And with that sorted out, I think we're pretty much just at the boss room now, I think, right? Okay, boss room. Let's see what's waiting for us inside of here. Big red button. You always got to push a big red button before the boss spawns. So let's push said big red button. Don't touch that. I want to set my party up first and kind of spread them out a little bit in case this guy does anything crazy. And then we'll push the button. And who better to push the big red button than the rogue? My general experience playing Dungeons & Dragons is that the rogue player is always the most excited to touch big red buttons. Start the fight. Okay, so we got enemies all over the place right now. We definitely want to get our mage away from whatever's happening here. Throw ninja stars at him for the kill. You hit him with radiant light from the stars, and then start auto-attacking. He's got really bad accuracy. He's got like catastrophically bad accuracy. Huh. Bring my wizard back over here. Give me a lightning blast, maybe on that one. Yeah, that'll soften him up good. And then you, do I want you in melee or do I want you at range? I guess I'll keep you at range for right now. Maybe. Wizard, fall back for a second. Give me a frosty bolt on that guy so that he doesn't get overwhelmed. You give yourself a personal shield. You just rage out, bro. I'm giving you full-on permission to just go full roid rage on these guys. Over here, as soon as this cooldown comes up, I would like to hit this enemy with a magic missile. Perfect. His cooldown's not back up over there, but he does have an instant strike he can throw out. I can't control his abilities right now. Let's swap back over to our blade. Oh, never mind. We'll get him with a quick strike for 2 damage. Not really much, but it's something. And down goes the enemy. So our boss room was actually pretty easy there. The last couple bosses I had were like scripted, where they were bigger monsters that take up like a 2x2 tile or whatever. That seemed like it was just a big enemy swarm, but we did get a +1 dexterity ring right there, which actually might help our barbarian hit a little bit more accurately. I'm gonna have to like check and see how the stats work, but first things first, let's get this fat stack of loot. We've got ourselves a battle axe of flame line. So it does extra damage to physical armor, and when it hits, there's a chance for you to cast Line of Flame, which is an AoE that goes in a straight line and does 3d6 to the enemy. That is actually kind of hot and spicy. We've got a medium helmet of the Undead Slayer. It gives us a charge of Detonate Zombie. You can sacrifice one of your minions to become a deadly weapon, so it's Corpse Explosion. And then, if we have the full set of the Undead Slayer, we get Invigorating Defense when we get hit by an attack, which makes us heal for 4. Wow. Okay. I think I could live with that. It's a pretty nice little helmet right there. We also got a res kit. That allows you to bring back characters that have been knocked out inside of the dungeon and leveled. And then we've got a gem over here. It is a tier 2 gem that gives you an extra charge of lightning. So we definitely want to put that on our mage, because that lightning cast was easily the biggest source of damage that we had in that entire scuffle. So my barbarian is wielding a 2-handed great axe, which is a strength weapon. So maybe we'll put the dexterous ring on him, since he's the one like disarming traps and trying to keep us from like getting our feet impaled and stuff like that. So maybe that'll be a little bit more helpful on him. As far as the battle axe is concerned, does he already have a strength weapon? So it's 1d6, but he's getting a +2 bonus. With this weapon right here, it'll attune to him after this next fight. It looks like his damage goes up a little bit. It gives him a bonus, and we've got a chance to shoot fire everywhere. It's a flamethrower axe, all right? That's super awesome. Who doesn't love a napalm spitting axe? Let's get out of here. We'll go back to base, and we will finish the dungeon. We're gonna get a rundown of everything that we did in the dungeon right here. Sometimes dungeons do have multiple floors, but I'm not that far into the base, or into the game yet. So keep that in mind. It looks like the game has like an endless mode mechanic over here too called Global Threat that allows you to ramp up the difficulty. I haven't unlocked it yet. I'm guessing that's further on towards endgame. And so it looks like there's going to be some kind of like torment mode basically that you can play the game in to keep your characters going to uber high heroic levels and finding even doper loot and going up against even bigger challenges. So that's pretty cool. Back here at base, we're probably going to get the forge now. Well done. If you can believe it, my tremendous devices can also be improved. Over the course of your adventures, you'll accumulate all kinds of resources, and some of those resources can be used to upgrade my apparatus. Luckily, we already have enough resources for an upgrade. I recommend you add another stabilizing slot. Okay, open the stabilizer, so they're still like tutorializing me. It feels like the game just kind of like walks you through everything. I do kind of wish that all the buildings were just unlocked from the beginning and you could just buy them at your own pace, but the game does seem to be pretty heavily tutorialized. They wanted me to get another slot right here for my stabilizer, so that's good. I'll probably reduce the cost of stabilization as well. And now that we've done that, great, I managed to unlock a bunch of other devices. We've got forges, identificators, and soul explorers. Some resources can be used to build them, while others can be used to upgrade them. Over time, more of my phenomenal devices will become available, unlocking wild possibilities. Okay. I don't think there's really going to be anything that I can build for right now, I don't think. Oh, no, I can build the forge. I've got the 3 crystals right there. Let's go ahead and build up our forge. So now we have our forge so that we can customize our gear, make it a little bit stronger. He's now back, I think, from being stabilized, I believe. Yeah, he's back. So we'll have to see what the next mission has for us. But the facilities that I've gotten so far, you've got a recruitment tower over here. It's got classes in it. You can unlock more of them. On top of that, every single day when you come back from the dungeon, it's going to give you a different selection of adventurers, just like in Darkest Dungeon. You just kind of take what you want to get. Everything here can be upgraded. This right here is the Soul Infuser. So as you get to certain points in the game, your characters are going to get these little stars next to their face. You can spend those stars to upgrade all of their abilities. So for example, if I wanted to have 3 charges of lightning, I could buy that right here. Or I could upgrade one of his cantrips to make the cooldown faster or to make it hit harder, something like that. So we get an extra projectile were I to upgrade one of these. I think that's not a terrible idea. So I can make my CC stronger. I think that's a really good idea for freezing the enemy out. An extra bolt right there would be nice too. That leaves him with 4 points that he can play around with. I think I'll probably just add a projectile to his magic missile. And then maybe I will lower the cooldown of his free attack from pause right there too. And that's kind of the level that you can do a lot of customization here. Like, let's go over to the forge and see what we've got here. So inside the forge, we can do a couple of interesting things. We can merge gems with armor, which is exactly what we're planning on doing. We can do fusion, which is where if you have 2 items of the same type of the same quality level, you can put them in here and it'll upgrade the quality level of one of them by eating the other one, so that's kind of nice. And then on top of that, we can also melt down items inside of here to not only get money back, but we can also get crafting materials back so that we can upgrade our base a little bit more. So were I to put my awesome helmet inside of here, we would get a blueprint for that, which is more than I expected, in all fairness. I didn't expect to get like major metagame resources out of that situation. So far, I would say that my couple hours with the game have been really pleasant. I think roguelikeifying a hardcore CRPG dungeon crawl with D&D rules is a really good idea, because what a lot of roguelikes lack is depth. And what does D&D have? It has loads and loads and loads of depth. It's got like shovels worth of depth. And with all of these little crafting stations and stuff that we've got inside of here that we can play around with, there's a lot of things that you can do to level up your characters. You can remove curses from people. I haven't even gotten to that part of the game yet where my guys get permanently cursed. We can get new classes from some of our buildings. We can take the randometer, which allows us to throw away items and merge them into a single stronger item that's randomized. We've got future devices. I mean, I've only made it to here in the couple hours that I've played the game. So it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of gameplay if it bites you and you kind of get into this Diablo meets D&D thing that the game is trying to do, with a little smattering of Darkest Dungeon in there as well. And I think it's a winning combination. I think they've got a really good art style. The game doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got a sense of humor. There's lots of variety. Even now, a couple hours into the game, with what I can do with all of my various resources and stuff that I'm looking at, I'm always kind of conflicted about what I want to spend my money on whenever I get back from a dungeon. I'm always a little conflicted about what I want to sell versus what I want to keep. it's nice. Like, I found it to have a good amount of variety and depth to play around with. So if you're looking for basically a procedurally generated Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawler that also incorporates a lot of the addictive dopamine-inducing ideas from other games, party management, base management, and a whole bunch of other just mechanics up inside of here that a lot of them I haven't even gotten to yet, like curses and difficulty levels and threat levels from the surface. Stabilization hasn't really been a problem just yet, but I'm guessing the further out you get into the dungeon, the more people destabilize, and you're going to have to do it more and more and more. It feels like a game that's got its head screwed on really, really well. This is an all-around rock-solid idea that I've been enjoying playing around with. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we are messing around with Escape the Mad Empire. Tomorrow we'll be playing around with something else. Keep an eye on this one. There's a lot of good ideas in here, and there's a lot of good hybridizations in between different genres of RPG that I think end up becoming more than the sum of what's been put in. Pretty fun. I like it. I'll see y'all later.